But we can do that together, Daniel. We don't need him. No, he told me our plan would fail. He told me we would all die. Carrot shook his head. That's wrong. It's a good plan. I know we can make it work. I must ask. When he told you our plan wouldn't work, was that one of the three truths? Daniel felt as if he'd been punched in the gut. He didn't answer. Daniel, listen to me. I've lived longer than you, and I've traveled further. I've learned much, and I know that Baal is no deity. He's one of the fallen. The pathway of Baal is a pathway to sorrow. He has no loyalty, not even to those who serve him. Daniel didn't want to argue with Kellen anymore. He saw no point. He knew the truth. He couldn't save Donatia. That was all that mattered anymore. He wants your heart. I'm sorry. A look of rage filled Carrot's face. He wants my heart? Here, take it if you think that's what you really need. He stood up, pulled his sword out, and threw it to the ground. Go ahead now. Do what you need to do. Daniel threw his sword and shut down his emotions as if he'd been trained to do. Cameron continued with his rage, hitting his fist against his chest. Take it. I won't stop you. Just rip it out. Daniel's sword lashed out right as Cameron finished his last sentence. The very last expression on his face was a trick of surprise, as if he hadn't really expected Daniel to strike him. Cameron's head flew off with his body and landed in a ditch several feet away. For a moment, Daniel fell to his knees in sorrow. The pain of his actions nearly overwhelmed him, but he thought back to the lessons of his youth. For one last time, he pushed his personal feelings aside so that he could complete his mission. The emotions were suppressed easily, but nonetheless, Daniel regained his focus. Drawing his knife, he sliced into Carrot's belly and put it up into his rib cage. After several minutes of cutting and tugging, he finally retrieved the heart of his friend. The hissing voice sounded just behind him, making a fire, and blackened the heart. I will tell you when it's done. I'll give my location away if I make a fire, Daniel protested. Do not worry about that. I will make sure they don't see you. Daniel made a fire as instructed and placed the heart upon it. Beside him, Balch chanted in an unknown language. The heart burned on the fire until after the moon went down. The night became even darker. You may take the heart off the fire now, Bal instructed. Daniel used some sticks and placed the heart upon a large rock. Bal nodded his approval, used a knife, and made a slit in his heart. Once the slit was made, bright red blood gushed from within and dripped down onto the rock. Now, smear some of the blood onto your forehead. You will be able to walk into the city undetected. The blood will remain wet. When you select the person you want to bring back with you, smear some of the blood from your forehead onto their forehead. You will both be able to leave safely. Remember, you can only choose one. Do not attempt to bring more than one person with you, or I promise a punishment worse than death for both you and them. The invaders will attack at midday. You must leave the city before then. Now go, and leave the heart here for me. After smearing a generous amount of blood on his forehead, Daniel walked from the hill towards the city. To take his mind off the death of Carrot, he imagined what his future life would be like with Donatia. He knew of several cities that would be taking them in. It was one of the advantages of being well-traveled. He gave him a son, and his son would grow up with the love and privilege that he himself had never received. They would have many children, and he would no longer be pressed into the service of the army. As he approached the first set of the night watch soldiers, he paused and took a deep breath. The torches burnt brightly in the darkness, but they didn't seem to notice him walking. As he closed in, they stopped moving entirely, as if they were frozen in place. Walking past them, he turned around and continued to eye them. As the distance between Daniel and the soldiers increased, the soldiers slowly started moving again, oblivious to the fact that an enemy soldier had just walked by them. Relieved, his mind began to wander again. He hadn't seen his wife in nearly a year. He wondered if she would look different. He thought about how happy she would be to see him, and he smiled at the thought. He finally reached the main gate of the city. The guards on duty looked down on him from high on the wall, but they had fastened stares on their faces. He opened the gate for him without saying a word. Even though the gate was completely open, none of the invaders seemed to notice. Daniel walked into the city, and the gate closed behind him. His heart beat faster. He broke into a run, trying to get his small wooden hovel as fast as possible. The people of the city looked worried. They were all crying and arguing. Soldiers were busy fortifying their positions along the wall. Nobody gave any attention to Jana as he ran through the alleys. Out of breath, he burst through the door of his house. Natalia was awake in bed when he entered. A single lantern illuminated the room. "Daniel!" she screamed out his name in joy as he ran towards her. She looked exactly as he remembered her. They embraced and kissed. They embraced and kissed, if that's what it means. He held her close for several moments. He couldn't begin to explain to her how he managed to get there, and she didn't ask. She just accepted his presence happily. Dana looked into her eyes. "I came back here to save you. We must leave now." "That makes me so happy," she said. "But wait, there's something wonderful I must show you." She moved over to the bed and picked up a small bundle of blankets that he hadn't noticed earlier. She approached him with a smile as he heard a small cry emanate from within the bundle. Inside, he saw a baby, perhaps 3 months old. "Your son," Daniel beamed. Daniel looked at the baby, and his heart filled with love and pride. The small child, conceived in the days before he left, and built in his absence, had the same color eyes as him. Natalia handed the bundle to him, and he held the first and only son closely. However, his smile faded, and his pride quickly turned into her as he realized the true extent of Belle's evilness. Looking at Donnie and the baby, he remembered what Belle had told him. "Remember, you can only choose one." Whoa. He knew the choice would be impossible. Well, guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed.